When you open your heart to people, when you open your life to people, a miracle, a breakthrough happens. You know what happens? Ask me what? A little louder. You can do better than that. What? Friends turn into families. And that's what's going to happen when you open your life today. Can you tell the person beside you, your family?
Your family.
Come on, a little louder. Your family.
Your family.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Let's all pray. Thank God for community. Thank God for church. Can you put your hands over your chest? Say this with me. Dear Lord, thank you for church. Thank you for the feast. Thank you for leaders. But above all, thank you for friends. Thank you for my spiritual family. I love it here. I learned so much from here. Bless me today. In Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So let's extend our hands and sing to the Lord one more time. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet and a light unto my path. Come on and give God a big hand, everybody. Worship Him today. Let's give a big hand to Audie. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was powerful. Thank you, worship team. Beautiful, beautiful. Please be seated, everybody. Touch somebody beside you. Tell that person God will speak to you today.
God will speak to you today.
I miss you guys. Miss you last Sunday. Was traveling, going to a pilgrimage. How many of you are happy to be here? Raise your hand. Want to see? Wonderful. How many of you have problems? Raise your hand. Why is it that the people who are happy have problems, and those who have problems are happy? Look at somebody beside you and see if that person has a problem. Does that person look like someone who has a problem? How many of you have problems in your finances? Raise your hand. I want to... How many of you have utangs? Raise your hand. I want you to tell somebody beside you, darating ang araw, wala na akong utang. I really want you to be financially free. I really, really pray for that. You know, all through, how many of you have problems with your love life? Raise your hand. That's our next series, Magnetic.
You can't have a problem.
It's going to be
something that does not exist.
our next series of the feast. I just arrived last night from Italy. And on the plane, my wife was beside me, and on the plane I told my wife, the stewardess is pretty. And she looked at me and she said, love, that's how she calls me, love, for the past 19 years of our marriage, I have never been attracted to another guy. I looked at her and I said, sweetheart, me too. For the past 19 years, I have never been attracted to another guy. But should I remember a few days ago, we were in Italy or somewhere there, and we saw this waiter, and I told my wife, you know, guapo na. Balbasarado. I told my wife, you know what? If that guy was in the Philippines, he would be an actor. Here, he's a waiter. You know, we're surrounded with beautiful people and attractive people, and that's true, and we accept that. But at the end of the day, there is only one beautiful woman in my heart that I am living for
and dying for. On the plane, as we were going home here, I would just sometimes look at her and just gaze at her. And for no other reason but just to enjoy looking at her, at how blessed I am that she is my wife. And why am I saying that? Because there is a difference between temple and church. Oh, by the way, my one big message is this. Let's do life together. I want you to hold someone's hand. I want you to grip it hard. And I want you to tell that person, let's do life together. Let's do life together. That's what church is all about. There's a difference between temple and church. Everybody say temple. Everybody say church. Jesus came down to earth not to build a temple, but to build a church. Now, what's the difference between temple and church? Ask me, what's the difference? Temples are beautiful, and there are many temples, and you can visit them and connect with God, but there is only one church. In the same way that there are many beautiful people around you, but if you're married, there's only one person that you're willing to die for and give your life to. There are many temples. A temple is a place where you connect with God. Everybody say connect with God. You know it is a temple immediately when people will do this. Temples are a place where you're supposed to be quiet because you're dealing directly with God. And you do not want any kind of disturbance from other people. Look at somebody beside you and say, in a temple, you're a disturbance. Are you listening to what I'm saying? Temples are supposed to be pure, pristine, and predictable. Everybody say pure, pristine, and predictable. Why? Because you're dealing directly with God. Those are temples. A church is not just a temple. You don't only deal with God, you deal with people. And the moment you deal with people, you can no longer be pure, pristine, or predictable. Yes or no? That person beside you is not predictable. Yes or no? A church will always be messy. Always. Always. I'm going to say it again. Jesus did not come to earth to build a temple. He came to build a church. Now, of course, when you say church, there's the small c and the big C, so I'm referring to the small c. The big C is the universal church. It's the Catholic Church. And then there's the small c, the local church. And this, light of Jesus, is not even the local church. Ask me, what is the local church? Your friends in light of Jesus. That's your local church. That's, I always say this, you have to build a feast video, you have to build a light group, you have to be part of a small group of people. You know, when I was in the pilgrimage in Europe a few days ago, every time I go to a church, not every time, but whenever there are candles available to light, I would light candles. And I would pray for you. I would actually go through the different people that I know and the people that I don't know by name, but I would be praying for different needs that you would have. I would light candles for you. Now, I must admit this. I did not light one candle per person, or I would be broke. Each candle was €2 per candle. That's about $100, more than $100 per candle. But that's my point. You would want someone to light a candle before God for you personally. I can only do it as a whole group. I can only do it, Lord God, I pray for Feast Bay area, I pray for this part and that ministry, and I pray for the leaders here and there. You know, I would do it in bunches, but I cannot do it by name. You would need. Wouldn't it be wonderful if somebody every day would be, quote unquote, lighting a candle before God with your name on it every single day? Wouldn't that be wonderful? Yes or no? Yes. And that's why you need a bunch of friends. In light of Jesus, here at the feast, who would be your local church? While I was in Europe, somebody texted me, emailed me, Brother Bo, my mom passed away. I wish you would be here to visit. I feel so sad. I emailed back and I said, I'm not in the country. But you see, that should not happen. That should not happen. Somebody from the crowd emailing me and saying, I wish you were here beside me because my mom passed away. That should not have happened. Ask me why. If that person had a small bunch of friends here at the feast, a light group, a feast video, are you listening to what I'm saying? They would email me and say, Brother Bo, my mom passed away. It's okay that you're not here because I've got my family here. Friends in the light of Jesus, friends in the Feast Bay area. They're here with me. They're accompanying me in my pain. Are you listening to what I'm saying? That's why I'm telling you, if you don't join a feast video, you build one. Look at somebody beside you and say, you better build one. In your home, in your office, in your school, build a feast video. A small, you know, you would want, I want you to be me. That's my point. I want you to be me. So that when you go to church, you're part of a light group, you're part of a small group, you're part of a feast video. You know the things that are happening in their lives. Why? You're just 5 people. You're just 10 people. So every time you go before God, you're lighting 5 candles before God. You're praying for those 5 people. Am I making my point?
Yes.
Am I pressing this on you? I'm going to ask this question again. How many of you have problems? Raise your hand. Guys, when you have a problem, isn't it so wonderful to have friends around you who pray for you, who accompany you, and who encourage you? Do I hear a loud amen? Amen. Do you have those friends in church? I hope your answer is yes. If not, if you're just attending the feast and you don't have a small group here, it's time to change that. I'm going to say this as loudly as I can. Everybody say, I'm listening.
I'm listening.
This is not complete church. The feast is not the complete church the way God designed it to be. If you don't have a small group, if you don't have a small bunch of friends who will journey with you and do life together with you, you've got to be involved in a small group of people. One more time, I'm going to say this. If you're not part of a small group, you are not living the complete church the way God, you are in a temple. Just a temple, not a church. Now the thing about temple and church is this. Some people prefer a temple because they don't have to deal with the mess of the people around them. They just want to go there. That's why temples are pure, pristine, and predictable. Temples. Churches are noisy. Churches are messy. But I want to thank God. I really do. that in temples there are, I invented the word, shishers. Temples have shishers. In churches, there are cheerers. There are encouragers. There are lovers. There are servants. And that's what's important. In 1994, I gave an old talk that to this day has tremendous impact. When you go to a local church, and by that I mean the small bunch of friends that you have, you experience 3 levels of community life. The first level is what we call delirious. Everybody say delirious. That's when you enter this small bunch of friends in your community, in your prayer group, and here at the feast, and you say, wow, this is heaven. And you look at everyone and you see them as angels. Everyone are angels. And you feel so wonderful that you're part of them. And you're thinking to yourself, I'm not worthy to be with them. And then you look at your leader and you say, he's a living saint. And then every time you're beside your leader, you ask yourself, I wonder if he reads my sins. You know, we like to hero worship, and I get that a lot. Believe you me, there have been times, and not just occasionally, but there have been times in my life where I'm walking around, sometimes at the feast, sometimes at the mall, and somebody comes up to me, touches me on the arm, on the shoulder, at the back, and then makes the sign of the cross. I'm not kidding. There are people who hero worship, and they have a need to do that, and they put you on a pedestal, and these are people in stage 1. These are people who are in the delirious stage. The stage of honeymoon, of ecstasy, of being part of the feast, of being part of that small group that I was talking about, and I'm saying, whoa, yeah, it's so good to be here. Everyone is so holy, I'm the only one that's not, and it's amazing. And then, but very quickly, they move into stage 2. Very quickly. Stage 2 is what I call the stage of disenchantment. And disenchantment is when, well, all of a sudden you realize that people are not angels. In stage 2, you look at everyone and you look at them as demons. You realize that people are weak and people have faults and people are not very good. And your favorite word, you know, somebody in the family, you go home from the feast and somebody says, how's the feast? You see, in stage 1, if somebody says, where did you come from? The feast. Oh, what happened there? Oh, gosh, I was in heaven. How are the people there? Oh, gosh, they're saints. They're beautiful. In stage 2, you go home and people in the family, at home, they ask you, where did you come from? The feast. How are the people there? Plastic. How's your leaders? Fake plastic. What's worse than fake plastic? In stage 2, you begin to look at the weaknesses of the people around you, more than their strengths, more than their blessings, more than their goodness. You see the inadequacies of people. Are you familiar with stage 2? Or is everybody still in stage 1? In stage 2, it's when you wonder whether God put you in the right group or not. And then you begin to look. You begin to look for other communities, and you begin to look for other groups, and you say, baka naman may ibang grupo. I remember the story of this guy who was looking for the perfect wife. And he had a criteria, somebody who would be as beautiful as my wife, or or somebody, you just had this incredible list. It had to be beautiful, it had to be a good cook, it had to be. And then he started searching for that woman. And after many years, found her. And he was so happy. And he courted her. And he was rejected. Because he found out that she was searching for the perfect man. And sometimes in stage 2, we need to wake up. Everybody say wake up. To realize that church is messy. Once upon a time, in Light of Jesus, one of the great things about Light of Jesus is that we're 37 years old. And so we've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and we still continue to do so. But in the early years of Light of Jesus, we were confused. And I know a lot of prayer groups can be confused by this. We were confused whether to become a temple or to be a church. We thought that there was no difference. In the early years of Light of Jesus, we wanted to be a church, but our image of church was temple. We wanted to be pure, pristine, and predictable. And so I remember that we had certain rules that you had to follow to become a member and to remain a member. And we were very strict. I'll give you an example. We checked attendance. So if you were absent more than 7 times in 1 year, we will talk to you and say, maybe Light of Jesus is not for you, because you have not shown the required commitment to become a member. Why? Because we wanted to be pure, pristine, and predictable. We wanted members of the, if you were smoking, or if you were drinking, or if you were gambling, or if you were gossiping, or if you were complaining about the leaders of the community, then those are signs that for us we would say, you're not maybe called to become Light of Jesus. That was in the early years of the Light of Jesus. Why? Because, I remember our elders meeting, we would talk about, oh, this person, this one of our members, was seen in a beer pub. And our first reaction is, that person is carrying the name of the Light of Jesus. And so the image of the Light of Jesus will be affected. We were so concerned about that. I want to thank God, that was a long time ago. That was a very long time ago. And today, we know the difference between temple and church. And we've accepted and committed ourselves to be a church for messy people. My dear friend, is there mess in your life? Welcome. This is your church. And I'm not concerned about the reputation, the image of the community. Nah. I'm concerned about you. During that part of our history in Light of Jesus, you would have to go through all sorts of hoops and hurdles to become a Light of Jesus member. About 4 years of a certain program where you would receive certain talks and go to certain seminars and go to certain retreats, and then maybe you will become a member of the Light of Jesus. We don't do that anymore. Oh yes, we do have all those talks, and we do have those seminars, and we do have all those retreats, and we want you to go through them, but that's not the basis of membership. Ask me why. Louder. Why? Can you stand for me, please? Everybody say, I'm listening. In the olden days of the Light of Jesus, it would take 4 years to become a member. You have to go through this hoop and that hurdle and prove your commitment, blah, 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 blah. Today, from day one, the moment you step into the feast, the moment you step into a feast video, the moment you step into a light group, the moment from day one, you're part of my family. And do you have a drinking problem? You're still part of my family. Right now, you're in an affair, you're in an extramarital affair, you're still part of my family. I mean, I don't care what you're going through. You're buried in debt, millions, you're part of my family. I don't care what's happening in your life. You're part of Light of Jesus. We start there, and then we journey together. And God, He's going to do the changing. He's going to do the rest, not me. My role is to help you, to love you, to serve you, to pray for you. It's God's role to change your life. Welcome to the Message Church and Light of Truth. This third stage, what's the first stage? Delirious. Honeymoon stage. The second stage, disenchantment. The third stage, thanks be to God for the third stage, and I hope we all graduate there. It's death. It's death. Some people get stuck in stage 2. Some people get so stuck in stage 2, they remain there. The funny thing about this is that people who remain in stage 2, they're the complainers. They love complaining about the community. Complain here, complain there, complain there, and guess what? It's a miserable life to remain in stage 2. Stage 3 is when you decide to die and to realize that you're in community because you want to love. You know, I have a happy marriage. I have a very happy marriage. Ask me why. Louder. Why? Because every day I made a decision, I'm going to die to myself for my wife. That's all. That's why. That's why. And it's the same thing with community. Do you want to be happy in community? Yes. You don't? Do you want to be happy in light of Jesus? Yes. Louder. Yes. Every day, die. Every single day. Die. Die to your pride. Die to your preferences. And you'll be happy. Live for others. Serve. That's the way to be church. The only way to be church. And humility is the key to stage 3. In stage 2, you look at everybody's faults and weaknesses, and that's why you complain. By the way, don't you know these complainers don't leave community? They don't. They like staying there. They think it's their mission statement to complain. And no matter how much the leaders pray, Lord God, may Kulas join, transfer another community, the Wrath of God community. Lord, please, let them transfer. They never do. You just stay there. Ask me why. Why? Because Kulas is your saint maker. God allows people to come into our community to irritate you and annoy you so that you become a saint, so that you become holy. So thank God for Kulas. I'd like to just pray for you, for the Holy Spirit to work in your life and to make that decision to die. Can you put your hand over your chest? Just say this after me. Lord Jesus, Thank you for church. And thank you for your invitation to die, to live for others. Thank you for my family. In Jesus'